Direct Connection is made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities and is made possible by the generous support of our members. Thank you. Live from Maryland Public Television, this is Direct Connection with Jeff Salkin.
Hi, everybody, and thanks for tuning in for Direct Connection. There is a new medical gadget to treat some hard-to-treat conditions. We will have that coming up. But first tonight, your chance to get answers to your questions about keeping your lawn and garden green and growing in the heat of summer. Joining us now from Valley View Farms is Carrie Engel. Carrie, it's great to see you again. The summer so far has been hot and it's been humid, but we've had some rain, so it hasn't been too bad, I think.
I know, it's amazing. I know my own yard, the grass is still green, the trees still look great, so we haven't had the scorching we sometimes get a little bit later on. No drought issues yet, so pretty happy.
Your yard is green in December, I bet.
Front yard looks pretty darn good. Backyard, nobody's allowed to see.
All right, let's talk about this time of year and maybe some misconceptions. Like a lot of people, if you're buying a plant, you might feel like you need to wait until the fall to put it in the ground, or else you're going to need to water it 3 times a day.
You're not totally off base there. Things like lawns, if you were to try to start those right now, you probably would need to water them 3 times a day. And some of the smaller containers, things like these hanging baskets, they may need water about 3 times a day too. So you do have to sort of check that. But in general, if you're planting a tree or a shrub, if you can get some water to it a couple of times a week, we say about an inch or so of water a week, you're going to be fine with most of that. And you can do some things like add mulch to the top of it to stop the ground from drying out too much, and sheet it a number of other ways.
That's a question I have. I mean, everybody has mulch around all of their trees these days. When I was growing up, I don't remember anybody having mulch anywhere. I mean, what does it do?
Mulch does a couple of things. It prevents weeds. It helps keep the soil moisture intact in there. But people do use it wrong sometimes, so you never want to see that volcano of mulch that goes up a tree. You always want to see the root flare or the tree trunk flare come down. So generally 2 to 3 inches thick is about all the thicker you want in your mulch, and that's going to keep everything nice. And you just don't want to overdo it.
All right, back to the dealing with the summer heat. In terms of everything's growing, so if you look at the lawn and decide I need to prune some things, is there any risk of doing that when it's, you know, this kind of hot, humid weather?
You know, I do a lot of things I don't do in 90 degrees. Might wait till the evening to do some spraying if I have some insect, and that's for me as well as the plants. So if you can let things cool out a little bit, if you're doing a lot of heavy pruning, yeah, I'd probably wait until it got into the lower 80s, maybe not bother with it when it's so hot, because you can get some scorch. If you think about it, you take, say, an azalea plant back or you prune it back, all those inside leaves have been in shade all this time. You bring those leaves back too much and you're going to get sun scald and everything on those interior leaves. They just haven't seen it before.
Good idea to give them some water after you do that?
Yeah, great idea to do that. Also a good idea to water anything when you plant it, and probably the next couple of days afterwards, if you're talking about things in the ground. Lawns, you know, we just seeded some stuff about a week and a half ago here, and it's coming up fine, but we are watering it 2 or 3 times a day. But don't be afraid to let your lawn go dormant this time of year. A lot of the grasses will go dormant. They'll come back fine in the fall. So don't kill yourself trying to water it, because water is an important resource as well.
Now, at your house, Carrie, if you let the front lawn go dormant and it's half brown, do the neighbors start talking about she's the expert? Yeah, I do get that. But honestly, I get 1.5 gallons a minute on my well. So my lawn does not get watered. Except when I'm starting seed, it does not get watered. So it looks good still now, just because we've had enough rain. But if we go another couple of weeks without rain, I'm going to let it go. Let me remind our viewers, if you have a question about your lawn, your garden, your trees, this is your chance. Give us a call at the number on the screen, or you can tweet your questions. The Twitter address is @MPT News. Carrie, focusing on the lawn for a second, crabgrass is a huge problem for a lot of people in our viewing area. Is it too late to do anything about that? Because I know you're supposed to do something in the spring. Well,
in the spring's the best time is to prevent crabgrass, because crabgrass is an annual plant. so it doesn't really get started until like middle of June. Now you do have to go in and actually kill it if you want to get rid of it. And again, you have to be a little careful with the higher temperatures, but there are products out there to do it. We carry one called Crab-A-Rad that's very good. But if you still have it in the fall, I'm not sure I'd worry too much about it. Just wait until spring and put down a good crabgrass preventer, in April, early May, to kind of keep that crabgrass from germinating a little bit later next year. And if you have any bare spots, get some grass seed down on those, because that's where crabgrass ends up. It goes into wherever, anywhere your other grass hasn't been growing, or maybe you've pulled a plant out or some other grass has died for whatever reason. Get some new grass seed in there, get it going, and you're not going to have nearly the problem with crabgrass.
Would you put the grass seed down now or wait till the fall?
If you have to, I'd put it down now, but fall really is the single best time to start a lawn. And again, water it, keep it going as well as you can. Put a little bit of fertilizer when you first put it in, and get a soil sample done before you spend a lot of money on grass seed and fertilizer, to make sure your soil pH is in line to keep grass growing. Grass and a lot of plants like a neutral pH, we can test that for you and find out exactly where you are if you need to add lime or anything to get things going and make that fertilizer work a little bit better.
How does that work, the soil sample? What do you need somebody to bring in?
Well, we usually tell them to get like a big coffee cup of soil, go down about that deep if you can, go 4 to 6 inches deep into the root zone where the plant's actually going to grow and those roots are going to be. Pull that in. The guys have a meter calibrated that we check out on a pretty regular basis. They'll just take a little bit of sample of your soil, add some water, and after that I don't really know what happens, but they give our customers the results, and they can figure out, again, if they need lime, if they don't need lime, and just depending on what you want to grow. Like blueberries like an acid soil, dogwoods like an acid soil, but grass, tomato plants really like kind of a neutral soil.
Let's take a phone call from Montgomery County. This is Meredith. Meredith, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
Hello?
Hello, you're on.
Hi, yes. I'm really interested to know if she has some answers for me about Japanese silkgrass, which is absolutely taking over my entire 10-acre property. And I noticed today when I went out to paint in the woods in the Seneca Creek area that it had taken over in the forest and the underbrush as well.
Meredith, where'd it come from?
Who knows?
Okay.
We wish we knew. Yeah, Japanese silkgrass is an invasive weed. It is taking over various parts. I have a little bit of it in my yard, and to be honest, I kind of attack it mechanically with a shovel as often as I can. I don't know what to tell you as far as getting rid of it totally. I would have to look stuff up and see what kind of pH that does need, because maybe we can change that in the soil a little bit. I know a lot of people don't want to get Roundup crazy and go out and just kill everything off. I mean, that would certainly work, but it's not where we want to go with things. But I'd have to really find out what the ideal pH is for that. Maybe we can change the pH, and that'll help get rid of the Japanese silkgrass. That works with a lot of other invasive weeds, but I unfortunately don't have all the information on me for that. But I'll look it up. You can give me a call maybe later in the week. I'll have the answer for you.
Let's take a call from Prince George's County. This is Peter. Peter, thank you for the call. Go ahead.
I have problems with moles. How can I get rid of them? I put grub killer down. I put those little chips, or what do you call it, put them in the line of where they be traveling. I can't get rid of them.
This is like Caddyshack, Peter?
I know. Yeah, they go after insects in your lawn, so they go after worms, they go after grubs, they go after ants. There are some products like Molmax that use castor oil base that will help kind of repel them and back them up a little bit. Be careful with that around your other pets, but it is something that does have some success. But you're right, getting rid of things like the grubs will certainly help them and stop them feeding on your lawn specifically.
And how do you, Carrie, how do you get rid of the grubs?
The grubs, you can use a product like Milky Spore, which is a natural disease that gets going in your lawn that will kill off any of the grubs. And you can use things like the Bacillus thuringiensis, or BT, which is another product that, again, is just a natural way to get rid of grubs. It attacks grubs without attacking other beneficial insects.
How do you think about the organic products out there? We were talking about Roundup, and I don't know if you've seen in the news, there have been some safety concerns about that. How good are the organic alternatives?
You know, they're not, I'm going to say they're not always as effective, but like anything else, if you can prevent the problem from occurring, like with our own health, you can certainly do the same thing. So if you provide the proper place for plants to grow, again, check your pH so that certain weeds and things, you don't have a problem. Watch the life cycle of different insects so they don't become a problem. That's all a big help. If you're looking to kill weeds and things like that, there's like a product called Pulverize out on the market. It's citric acid based, and there's some other things that use things like lemon juice or whatever to help get rid of them. It is effective, but you really do have to read the directions, use it the way they tell you to use it. And you might have to try it a couple of times. We were talking about crabgrass earlier. There's a product called corn gluten that's in a lot of the weed preventers that's all natural, but you might not get that 100% look the first year. It might take you a couple of years to get everything under control. But again, as you do that, you add more organics into your soil, you create a better, healthier lawn, you get live microbial activity going on, and you're going to end up with a much better soil and a place for your plants to live.
Carrie, it's a beautiful scene behind you there at Valley View Farms, but over your right shoulder, unless it's gotten up and moved, there was a crepe myrtle. Tell me about that.
Well, we have a lot of different crepe myrtles, and they're beautiful because these bloom all summer long. And I don't know if you can really get a good look, but you can get these in shrubs or trees. You can get them with dark leaves. They come with white flowers and purple flowers and pink flowers and these beautiful red flowers. And what I really love about these is as they grow, they get the most beautiful bark. So you have 4 seasons of interest with these guys. They weren't always hardy here in Maryland, but there's been a lot of work done on their breeding, especially with the National Arboretum down in DC. And we have some absolutely gorgeous varieties available now. And I've had really good luck with these. My neighbor put a couple in last year. My sister has several in her yard, and they're beautiful. They give you some great color this time of year.
Let's take another phone call. Frederick County, this is Shirley. Shirley, thank you for the call. Go ahead.
Hi. I was wondering, this is a question. Hi, this is a question in general. If you're riding up and down the highways, on 81, on 95, and on 15 in the state, there is a vine that's overtaking everything along the highways, the trees, the bushes. It's just covering them 40, 50, 50, 60 feet high. It's just smothering them. And they don't seem to be doing anything about this vine. It's in Virginia, it's in Alabama, it's in Maryland now.
Shirley, thank you for the question. I hadn't noticed. Carrie, had you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's most of it is kudzu, and again, this is an invasive. The United States brought it into our world on purpose to fix nitrogen on cotton fields in the South, and it escaped. So it really has become a problem everywhere, and it is something we are trying to control. And again, we're working on biological controls that'll sort of keep this plant contained a little bit because the chemical controls haven't really done anything. So it's, again, we're just trying to maybe work other plants into an area so they will overtake where the kudzu was and get it under control. But it is a big problem.
Lots of great advice tonight from Carrie Engel, joining us from Valley View Farms. Carrie, happy gardening. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you very much. You guys have a great night.
Take care. Coming up tonight, the changing treatment for many medical problems. We'll be right back.
Got an unused vehicle going nowhere? Donate it to the one place that can take you any place. Visit mpt.org/vehicles and support the programs you love on MPT.
The MPT app puts our programs right at your fingertips, so you can choose when to watch, what to watch, wherever you want to watch it. Download it now.
What happens in Japan and Asia matters to me. And with NHK World's newsroom in Tokyo, I get the news live from Japan right at the start of my day.
New ideas come out of Asia all the time. NHK Newsline reports on business, technology, and world events from Tokyo to Bangkok.
Once in the morning gives me a heads up on the competition.
Every hour on the hour, the news I want from Asia.
Watch NHK World now on Comcast Channel 268 and Verizon Channel 480.
Are you turning 70 and a half this year? If so, you generally have to start spending down your retirement account. Even the minimum distribution can place you in a sticky situation. Luckily, you can now use your IRA to make tax-free gifts. Gifts up to $100,000 will never count as income, but always make a difference. That's icing on the cake.
Make your gift for this year before December 31st. Visit mpt.org/support.
And joining us for this week's Your Health segment is Dr. Paul Fishman, a professor of neurology at the University of Maryland School of Medicine and a neurologist at the University of Maryland Medical Center. Doctor, good to see you again. Thank you for bringing your brain as well.
Well, I hope I brought more than half a brain.
Excellent. Glad you're here again. We want to talk about something called MRI-guided ultrasound, focused ultrasound. And we have a picture that you folks sent over that shows somebody about to be slid into an MRI machine with a larger than normal contraption around their head. What's happening there?
Well, what's happening is we're using sound energy to actually do brain surgery without opening up the skull or cutting into the skin. So what that helmet is over 1,000 small, you can think of them as stereo speakers that are putting out a pulsing of very high frequency, 10 times, 20 times higher than a human can hear. And that energy is actually penetrating the skull, a little bit going through it, and converging on a target. The target is guided by the MRI, and it allows us to actually, in this situation, destroy a very small, deep area of the brain that's creating abnormal brain activity, which is driving, in particular, an abnormal movement. Condition, it's FDA approved for a condition called essential tremor. It's actually the commonest cause of tremor in the world, maybe twice as common as Parkinson's disease. And for some patients, it's severe enough that it really disables them. That anytime they try to do something as simple as picking up a glass, there are patients who would have to hold the glass with both hands, and they're lucky to be able to get it to their mouth. They have trouble writing. They have trouble working with any form of machinery, besides the fact that it's very socially embarrassing.
When does somebody come to see an expert about essential tremor? Does it develop later in life? Are there causes for it? What do we know about it?
Well, half of the cases are inherited, and it does increase with age. And the earlier it begins, the more likely that when you're into late adulthood, it's going to be to a point that it's going to interfere with your day-to-day life. And like any surgical procedure, and focused ultrasound is a type of surgery, it's when there's significant interference with day-to-day life in spite of best medical treatment. And for many years, there's been surgery for this. More than 50 years. That in the 1960s, we knew that if we went to a certain targeted area within the brain,
a little higher so we can see
it. Deep within the brain, and I'm going to take off. So this is the thinking part of the brain, the cortex, and if I take that off, deep within it are the relay stations where information comes from spinal cord. And the area called the thalamus is really the grand central station of the brain, where information is then parceled out to many different brain areas. And within the thalamus is an area that we know is generating abnormal activity for patients who have significant tremor. And we've known for many years that if we destroy that area or interfere with that area very, very selectively, we can eliminate or dramatically reduce tremor without interfering with other brain function. And there's been another technology called deep brain stimulation, which is used for Parkinson's disease as well, where instead of destroying that area, you put in an interfering electrical signal where you get the same result. But deep brain stimulation, like old-fashioned surgery, requires putting a probe all the way through the brain to get to that deep target.
Let me remind our viewers, if you have a question about essential tremor, or this new ultrasound procedure, give us a call. We'll have the number on the screen. You can tweet your questions to @MPT News. So the connection between essential tremor and Parkinson's well known for people shaking. Is there a similar ultrasound therapy for Parkinson's?
It is moving ahead. It's still a research question. We've treated about 15 patients with Parkinson's disease. It's FDA approved for essential tremor, but still under clinical study for Parkinson's disease. Of course, Parkinson's disease has other symptoms besides tremor, and we know that there's not a single brain location that you get all the symptoms in. And we're looking at different brain locations to target with focused ultrasound.
Does a patient need to be awake? during this?
Yeah, because the patient is part of the team. So the team includes a neurosurgeon who's operating the control room, who's focusing that beam in. It includes a medical physicist or engineer to make sure nothing goes wrong with this technology. It includes a radiologist to help them guide the MRI, a nurse anesthetist, and the patient's part of the team. I'll float between the control room and I'll re-examine the patient as we gradually increase the intensity of the energy to see that good things are happening. The tremor goes from a wild tremor to gradually calming down, and that nothing bad is happening. If we're off target, the patient will experience abnormalities like a funny feeling on their face or a funny feeling in their hands.
And they can let you know that because they're awake?
Like I said, as a matter of fact, we even take them out of the MRI so we can do a thorough exam, and then we put them back in again. Each one of these pulses only takes about 15 seconds. So a lot of it is aiming before you shoot. What's
the patient feeling during this, aside from nervous?
Depending upon the thickness of their skull, the thing they're likely to feel is heat, because a lot of that sound energy, and this technology has been FDA approved outside of the brain for years. And you can use it. The sound energy converges on a target and turns into heat and can literally coagulate tumors like uterine fibroids. But the real advance that allows it to be used in the brain is devising a way to get it through the skull. And so some of that energy in the thick skull is going to be deposited. And so there are actually certain patients that we can't actually do because the quality of their skull will trap too much of the sonic energy and heat up their skull too much and not allow us to heat that brain target.
So some people do truly have thicker skulls than other people.
Well, it's not even the thickness. It's that the skull, like any bone, has a thick part and the inner marrow. And the sound waves kind of just get trapped within that. They get distorted. They get reflected in that kind of irregular skull and heats it up.
Let's grab a phone call from Anne Arundel County. This is Sheldon. Sheldon, thank you for the call. Go ahead.
Yes. When I was 54 years old, I found out that I had frontal lobe findings, and that was actually due to blinking eyes. And when I was in the 4th grade, they gave me glasses, and when I was recuperating from an accident, and when I was in a coma, a doctor told me I had frontal lobe findings. And is that something that can be helped?
Sir, we'll get you an answer on the air. Thank you very much for the phone call.
Again, probably not. Again, frontal lobe findings are kind of non-specific. When we do surgery for abnormal movements, it's actually going against logic. We're improving somebody by destroying part of their brain. And so, unfortunately, the vast amount of many neurological conditions are not amenable to brain surgery.
Where can somebody get this procedure for essential tremor? It was just approved last year, so I'm guessing academic medical centers.
There are about a dozen of these in the Western Hemisphere. And the limitation is that, probably isn't surprising to anyone, that a positive decision by one branch of the government, the FDA, does not mean that all the rest of the branches of the government, mainly Medicare, fall in line. And right now, what's been very disappointing is that Medicare has deferred any decision about whether or not they will give insurance coverage for this procedure.
So then the private insurers are probably following suit?
That's exactly. The private insurers at this point don't want to make a decision until Medicare has.
Let's squeeze in one more phone call. Baltimore City, this is Bill. Bill, thanks for the call. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have multiple sclerosis. Does any of what you're describing, would that help with somebody that has the disease?
Bill, thank you, sir. Best of luck.
There's a small amount of research for surgery, particularly for patients with multiple sclerosis with tremor. And it's been inconsistent. There have been some studies where it's benefited them and other studies where it hasn't. So right now, we're taking a very wait and see because unlike deep brain stimulation, which is adjustable, this is destroying brain, and so there is the potential to do harm, so we want to be very careful with the patients that we choose.
What else do you have for treating essential tremor in terms of medication?
Well, there's only one FDA-approved medication, and that's an old blood pressure medication called propranolol. There are 2 other medications that are useful. None of them have serious side effects, but they all have fairly annoying ones. They make people tired, sleepy, not really clear. And for the really severe tremors, you know, if a tremor is like this and you knock it down 20%, you haven't really made a dent in somebody's life.
Right. The technology has dozens of other potential applications I've read. What are some of the most interesting?
Well, one of the most interesting for me is that the vast majority of new brain therapies like gene therapy or stem cells, they can't get into the brain from the bloodstream. The blood vessels of the brain are kind of zippered shut, so we call it the blood-brain barrier. And this device can target the blood vessels and actually loosen up the blood-brain barrier so that we can give gene therapy or potentially stem cells without putting a needle into the brain.
Dr. Paul Fishman, the University of Maryland School of Medicine and University of Maryland Medical Center Neurology Department. Dr. Fishman, thank you for your time.
Thanks for inviting me.
And thank you for joining us for Direct Connection. We're back Thursday with Your Money and Business. Now, for all of us here at MPT, I'm Jeff Salkin. Thanks for watching, and have a good night.
Your Health segments are a co-production of Maryland Public Television and the University of Maryland Medical System.
This program was made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities.